We stopped being human because we became Nigerians. They divided us and we fell for it. Because you wouldn't see me as a Yoruba man, you spoke for me. Because you wouldn't see me as a Christian, you spoke for me. Because you spoke. Because you spoke. Because you spoke. Because you spoke, Nigeria couldn't happen to me. Because you spoke. The only reason Nigeria couldn't happen to me is because you spoke. You spoke. That is why Nigeria couldn't happen to me. And yeah, Nigeria couldn't happen to me. Emu, Eki, Biten Record. You found your voices. I became you. And in our collective, you couldn't be silenced. And I.
Greetings, everyone. My name is MAP Eziokubundo, one in Biafra land. And I believe every one of you watched the video of dele, farotimi, who have been in detention and been subjected to all manner of torture by the Nigerian system. I call it Nigerian system because that is the people that is oppressing him, for exposing a lot of atrocities that is going on in that contraption called Nigeria. And I know a lot of you see how the man broke down while making his speech, because with my own observation, he meant well for the so-called Nigerian youth who don't know what they want, who are not ready to take their destiny in their own hand. Now, having said this, what bothers me in the issue of all these things that is playing or going on in the zoo called Nigeria is that when somebody rise up to speak or to fight for Nigerian citizens, instead of Nigerian citizens to rise up to support and give the person the maximum support and stand and become the root of that very person, the Nigerian youth will just give the person fake support and bring the person in the center of no going back, no going forward, and they will drop the person. And this prompts me to ask some questions to the so-called people who claim to be human rights in Nigerians, and the kind of people who say they hate oppressors, they don't like Nigerians to be oppressed, that you cannot oppress people. First of all, before I'll start mentioning some few names, I want to give credit to a person like Aisha Yusuf. She has been outstanding. Apart from her, I have not seen somebody else that is trying to stand for what he or she believes at all cost. Now, that apart, let me break it down. And I will say today that 90% of the zoo citizens, yes, I call it zoo because your people behave like zoo, and that is the reason why I refer you people as a zoo citizens. Why are you people not rising up to hold and the support and the fight alongside with somebody who have rising up to speak for you people? Rather, 95% of you are supporting those who indirectly or directly projecting you people to hand you people over to the people that is subjecting you. If you want to fight the oppressors, if you want to fight you love Nigeria and you want to put a fight to make sure that Nigerians youth, Nigerian citizens will be treated right and what belongs to Nigerian citizens we give to them. You don't need to fight individual. You need to fight the system that projected the Nigerian citizen to be suffering. You need to fight and break that system that have made Nigerians to be suffering. And what is that system? That is the Nigerian government, which include Nigerian judiciary. So if you want to fight, you need to fight directly to the system to break it and to amend it. But rather, I want to ask Nigerians, those that are hailing and supporting VeryDarkMan, I want to ask you, what is VeryDarkMan fighting for? Can any of you tell me what is VeryDarkMan fighting for that make you to be hailing him? If I tell you today that VeryDarkMan is actually a tool that is being sent by the Nigerian government to gather most of you and to make sure that they project Nigerians and hand them into a very dangerous system that will put them in a worse situation than what they find themselves today. Because he, VeryDarkMan, is not fighting for Nigerians youth. Rather, he is fighting for the Nigerian government. He is protecting the system that have projected and subjected Nigerian youth to be where they are today. And I will prove that to you. Now, I have sat down, study, and make my researches on what he is fighting. And most of Nigeria, because most of you are very gullible and not sensible enough to know the directions of where somebody is driving you people to. Now, VeryDarkMan is not fighting the system. He works with the system. He is not fighting the politicians. He works with the politicians. He is not fighting the corrupt judiciary. He works with the corrupt judiciary, which means he is part and parcel of the system, making him part of the problem. I want to ask you, why is VeryDarkMan opening NGO, non-governmental organization, in order to build a government school, public school for the people? If he meant well for the people, what he need to do, the schools that he is renovating, I believe is a public school. And that public school is under local government chairman, is under a governor, is under a senator, is under a house of representatives, is under a house of assembly that is representing that very particular place. What is stopping him? The way he called Yole Doche, the way he called B-Lord, and the way he will just on his ring light and start calling Iyabojo morning, afternoon, and night. Why can't he call the senator that is representing that very district where the school is located? Why can't he call the senator out and tell him to renovate the school? Why can't he call the House of Representatives that is representing that very constituency for that particular school? Why can't he call the local government chairman, the governor of the state, to draw the attentions of that very school? And that many of you are clapping for such person. Do you know that when you renovate that school and build it with that NGO money, the question I want to ask you today is, who is going to fund the teachers that are going to teach in that very school? Who is going to fund the maintenance of that very school? In other words, that school can only be beautified only 1 or 2 years. It will go back to the original status, which is damage, because there will be no salary to pay the teacher to continue maintaining that school. But drawing the attention of the government, when the government take up their responsibilities, that have given that school a lasting solution. But rather, because he is feeding on your gullibilities, he is now telling you he is renovating school. And most of you are clapping because he don't want to fight the system that subjected that very school to be in that state, that he have made a lot of people to run out. That is the difference between VeryDarkMan, Dele Farotimi, and the great Iroko, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, who wants or who is fighting for the total freedom of his people. Now, if anyone tell you that he is fighting for you, the anyone that will fight for you is somebody who will fight the system that subject you into that suffering, that push you in or put you in that suffering. That suffering, you need a everlasting solution, a long-lasting solution to it. Not somebody that will be eating from you. That is why he can never fight and make sure he will fight the system. He doesn't fight the system. Rather, he work with the system. Why dele farotimi is passing through here is because he is fighting the system. And fighting the system will bring the solution that the you people need to sustain and to move forward for your right to be given to you. Because many of you are gullible, you don't see it. Instead of you people to be hailing people like dele farotimi, you are there clapping and shouting VeryDarkMan because you don't have sense of reasoning. You don't know the color of your problems. You don't even think about the solution. Any day, why ask yourself, why can't VeryDarkMan support dele farotimi to fight the same cause and the same thing others who claim to be human rights activists or who claim that they hate oppressors? Why can't them team up with this young man to fight that injustice, which is the only way you can fight injustice and amend everything that happened is through the system? And I will give you more example. When you call Jeremiah Omotefufui out, he is selling a product that the product don't have NAFDAC. Where is that case today? Nothing will come out. Why can't you hold NAFDAC responsible? Call NAFDAC for their failure. Because for Pastor Jeremiah Omotefufui to sell a product that has no NAFDAC number, it is a failure on the NAFDAC side. So you hold NAFDAC responsible for not discharging their duties, but rather you went for the individual, which end of the day you only get he is fighting for us. No, fight the system. When you fight the system, when the system is functioning well, when the system gives you freedom, your freedom will last. The government is the problem you have today. So when the government, when you fight the system and you win, you build a good system. When I say system comprises of the judiciary, the police, the army, the civil defense, the vigilantes, all the politicians. Now you have a sound system. The people will not be suffering again. You will see that people like VeryDarkMan will become a hungry nothing boy. But Nigerians are not wise. It is a pity that most of our people, we hate those that project us and hand us to our enemies and take glory, and we will give them glory. Why we can never hold them for their evil? That is why I tell you, I don't hate VeryDarkMan, but to me, VeryDarkMan is doing Nigeria a great damage, not a great job. For those of you who will come to my comment section to be crying and crying, listen, I don't give you can cry at all I care. I don't care. Cry, whatever, write whatever you want to write. But remember, blocking button is always active for zombies, not for intellectual. You can disagree and make your point. That is when I will leave you. Or remember my humble self, MAP is Yokubundo. 1. Support dele farotimi. Support the great Iroko. Okosisi na mafia. Ikukwana afanya, the breeze that you can see. Mazinam the Okukano. Total disintegration of that very contraption is this lasting solution you are seeking for. Until you seek for this, there will be no peace in the zoo, because the system is corrupt. Anyone that rise up to fight for your betterment should go straight and fight for the system. Fight the system. If you cannot fight the system, don't deceive people. VeryDarkMan is deceiving a lot of you. And if the government is not after you, they are praising you through their medias and others, know that they are using you. In the future, believe you me, VeryDarkMan will be the tool they will use to cage Nigerians for many years to come, and all of you will regret it. Mark my words. Everything I say come to pass. We see tomorrow. God bless you, and stay tuned for more videos.